Welcome to the 28th Massachusetts Company B. Help our channel by liking and subscribing, and also follow us on Instagram for more great content. Looking for an authentic union unit on the East Coast? Hit us up. Today we are going to do some post-event maintenance and cleaning on a Pedersoli P53 Enfield with a custom defarb by Mike Comer. This will be basic or field level maintenance every reenactor should do after an event. These are real guns, and anyone using them should take this seriously enough to know how they work, how to assemble and disassemble, and of course how to clean. Regardless of weather, the first thing I do after an event is I wipe it down, take out the Ramrod, and place it in front of a fan with a dehumidifier overnight to make sure all the moisture is gone. Once done, I will give it a good inspection before taking anything apart. I'm looking for loose parts, dings, gouges, or any other damage. This one looks pretty good, so off to the next step. The next step is to remove the sling. As an aside, a federal reenactor should have the standard US issue sling, as even if initially issued a English friction sling, it would have been eventually replaced with a US issue one, same as the Springfield. This sling is from the fantastic C.A. Davison. Once off, give it a good inspection, wipe it off, and then treat it with neatsfoot oil. I also recommend always storing and transporting your weapon in a rifle bag. Whether it's a waterproof one like this, a canvas one, or a modern bag, you'd be surprised how much damage happens during transportation. After initial inspection, sling removal, and maintenance, we are going to take the Ramrod out. Since the Ramrod can be damaged, I'll roll it back and forth to make sure that it's not bent. Now, in addition to ramming, I'll sometimes use my Ramrod to cook salt pork, and it will sometimes get rusty as well. To clean it off, I use rottenstone from Comer's Gunworks, but ashes work well too. All you do is you take a rag, dampen it, make a paste, then polish. Now for disassembly. First, we will loosen up, but not remove, the screws on the barrel bands. The reasons we keep the rings on is I don't like to have everything just fall apart. Next, we will remove the tane screw, which is on top. It looks similar to, but it is not identical to, the two lockplate screws. The difference is it is shorter and has a tapered end. Now we will remove the barrel bands very carefully. You want to go slow in case there is dirt or sand under them, which has scratched the wood. As you take the stuff off, get some sort of bin and put all of your parts in it. You'd be surprised how easy it is for these things to roll off the table. Now, go to full cock so the nipple clears the hammer, and if properly fitted, the barrel should come right off. Now, there is a period correct tool for the nipple, but since I'm in my workshop, I'll just use a wrench to loosen it and then finish it by hand. One thing to note is that this is a reenacting nipple, the difference being that it is drilled out, which of course you won't be able to see very well in this video, but we'll go over that in a second. Now that the barrel is out, we're going to examine it very closely for any damage, especially along the bottom where you can't normally see, and at the back end. We'll remove this beautiful lock plate next. First, we remove the two screws on the back side. And now the lock plate should come right off. And there we go. Unless I'm doing an end of the season deep clean or the weapon gets terribly dirty, I don't usually remove the trigger guard assembly or the butt plate. However, for both, I'll use some rottenstone to bring back a nice shine if needed. I do want to point out the beautiful job Mike Comer did on this butt plate. All Massachusetts regiments had the company, regiment, and roster number stamped on the butt plate. Once again, we will look over the stock for any sort of damage, especially in the parts that are now exposed. You'll see that the inside will get chipped and damaged sometimes. This is especially important to check if you are cleaning a well-used loaner weapon. This weapon is in pretty good shape, but if you come back from an event and your weapon is gouged or scraped, I like to touch it up with matching wood stain. In this case, we are using Laurel Mountain Forge walnut stain. We'll shake it up. I like to use makeup sponges as a dauber. Put a very small amount on, apply to the damaged area, and wipe off the excess. It goes without saying, you should use gloves during this process. Okay, this is key. You must treat your weapon with linseed oil. This is true when you first receive it, whether it's from the manufacturer or from a defarb, as well as after events. Linseed oil penetrates the wood, providing a protective and conditioning effect, and works to prevent moisture from penetrating the wood. Most people, if they even do it, will just coat the outside, but I recommend treating every part of the wood. Moisture is a weapon's worst enemy, and you must protect your investment. This is true for any wood you bring into the field. To include this original shovel, we restored and treated with 8 coats. Always wear gloves while using linseed oil. We'll use the same makeup applicator and apply a healthy, even coat. Then let it sit for a few hours, overnight is preferable, and wipe off the excess. Per Casey's manual, the area where the ramrod sits is called the pipes, and it must be treated as well. Now for the metal parts. We'll start with the lock and visually inspect it for any damage. On the inside, we'll look for any dirt, rust, or debris. As it should be dry, I'll clean it off with a brush. You can also use compressed air. Now I'll wipe it down. Make sure you get the area around the hammer. Then, I like to spray all the metal with a little bit of Ballistol and then wipe them down. Remember, on the Enfield, the metal is usually blued, so you don't want to use anything too abrasive or you'll strip it off. Make sure you focus on getting any sort of dirt or rocks out of the lock rings. Dirt will wear down and scratch the wood, something you want to avoid. Once the bands are complete, move to the screws, clean, and set aside. Now for the nipple. As mentioned before, this nipple has been drilled out using a 5/64 inch drill bit. This is done to decrease the chances of misfires while using blanks, especially when using the finicky Springfield. Do not use a drilled out nipple when shooting live, so have extras that are not drilled available if you do so. I usually take a 5/64 inch drill bit and run it through a few times to clean out any of the carbon buildup. I'll also have one with me in the field to help me keep the nipple clear during events. After I've scraped the nipple with a drill bit, you can use a pipe cleaner to clean up any remaining carbon buildup back to the lock plate. I'll spray some Ballistol in the working components to make sure they are protected. Now the mainspring. You can take this off, however you probably want a spring vise to get it back on without damaging it. But as this is just field level maintenance, we aren't going to mess with that, and we'll go over that in a future video. Alright, next we're going to clean the barrel. I've already cleaned this barrel so it's free of any fouling. We'll look at the bolster, which can be pretty dirty after an event. Spray some Ballistol in there, let it soak in, and then wipe off. Unfortunately, my adorable 7-year-old camera girl got distracted by a roly-poly bug, and we don't have any footage of me cleaning the barrel, but luckily, our friend Will Eichner does. Check out his fantastic video about field cleaning on Civil War Digital Digest, our #1 recommended channel. In the video, Will cover everything you need to properly field clean your barrel either at home or in the field. Now that our barrel is clean, we will apply a light coat of oil to the barrel and Ramrod and begin reassembly. First thing we're going to do is put the lock plate back on. When you reinsert the lock plate, make sure that it is flush with the wood. Flip the weapon over and reinsert the 2 lock plate screws. It's important to remember to never over tighten anything on this weapon. They should be snug but not tight. Next, place a drop of oil on the nipple threads, reattach, and tighten to a snug fit. Now, the barrel goes right back on. Make sure that the 3 locking bands all go back oriented in the same direction, and in the correct order, largest first. Give it one more good wipe, place on, being careful not to scrape the wood. Once on, we will tighten the screws to be snug. Do not over tighten them. Next, we'll make sure that everything is in alignment and everything is tightly pushed down. And lastly, we'll drop the hammer and put the tang screw back on. Almost done. Time for a function check. Pull the hammer back to half cock and pull the trigger. The hammer should not fall. Now pull it all the way back to full cock, and without letting the hammer fall hard, pull the trigger and ease the hammer back down. Put the ramrod back in, reattach to the sling, place back in your protective bag, and you're ready for your next event. And there we go. We really hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something. We will be doing some more weapons assembly and disassembly videos, so stay tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram, and we hope to see you here next time. Fa-a-bala.